Yep, we got ourselves another pretty good sized storage box here. This is from a brand called, what are you called here? Zettokete. Zettokete. Yep, never heard of them, but this is their box. Again, this was sent over for free in exchange for an honest review. This is a 2400 card box, and I believe it does come with a few other solutions inside, like dividers and whatnot. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to check the overall build quality, and then we're going to dip inside and see exactly how well this solution works. I actually just had a recent comment where somebody kept pointing out the fact that I was pointing out problems with another box similar to this. And they said, well, why do you care about that? You can just solve that problem by doing this and doing that. And I'm thinking, if I buy a product and it comes with another set of problems that I have to solve, then there is a problem with that product. If I buy something like this, it should be an all-inclusive solution. If it comes with a whole new set of products that I then have to get other products to solve, it's not a good box. Okay? So, want to set the stage here, okay? The point of a review is to go and find what potential things could be wrong with a product and point that out so you can make an informed purchasing decision. That's the point of a review. Okay, I said my piece. Let's take a look at this box and let's see how good this thing actually is. Let me take a look at some of the stitching here. I'll set it up right. Get a nice close look at it there. Stitching looks okay. Got a little bit of a fuzz there. Looks like it does come off. Try not to hit my microphone. Stitching there seems okay. Seems okay there. A bit of a double stitch right here and right here, but again, that's normal with these types of things. This feels very much like just a really big deck box. So this kind of gives you the idea of how this is built. It's got the same sort of exterior feel where it's kind of grippy, but also kind of not really soft, but not where it kind of digs into your fingers or anything like that. So it feels very much like just like a really big modern deck box. But yeah, so we've got the two things here with the stitching, which again, this is pretty normal with these types of things. You have to end the stitch somewhere, and so this is where the stitch would end. Let me flip it over here on the side. I'm not seeing. Oh, we got a little excess glue right here. Comes right off. That's good. A little bit of a tiny bit of a stitching issue right there, but very, very minimal. Let's flip it over to this side. You can hear the stuff on the inside. And this, again, another little bit of a stitching issue here, but again, fairly minimal. Looks mostly okay. So a couple of minor, very minor stitching issues. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. And while we do, let me see, is there a little, sometimes they put like a little piece of tissue paper there. Let me test the magnets here. Feel okay. Feel relatively strong. Let me see. Yeah, they feel okay. How many magnets do we have here? Let me break this out. Again, I haven't opened this yet, so there's all sorts of stuff going on there. I'm trying to check how many magnets we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I've only got so much room here on my table. I'm trying to squeeze it all in. I don't think I can get it here. There we go. You have no idea how I'm configuring myself to make this work right now. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 magnets right here, and they coincide with the other 4 that are on the box itself. So you got a total of 8 magnets holding it in place. Thought I felt another one there, but nope, that's not another magnet, so it's just 4. Let's check the stitching on the inside while we're here. Oh, we got a bit of a loose stitch there to just come right out. A little excess glue here also. Okay. Let's bring this up here. Stitching looks mostly okay. All right. So let's put this on the side here. Okay, so we do have a few things here. We've got some card dividers, and we've also got some little blocks here, which are quite useful in holding back your cards. So these are actually going to be something that I definitely want to take a look at. So we'll set these aside for now. Oh, don't fall over. There we go. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the overall quality on the inside here. Do have a little bit of a bulge there, a little one here. Not as bad over here. Trying to get that in camera. Not as bad over here. And not as bad over here. Okay. Yeah, I'm checking all this out because I just want to make sure that the build quality is at least adequate. If I'm seeing things kind of pulling apart and there's just way too much glue, that sort of thing, then I gotta point that out. Of course, it is possible that the particular sample that I got just had those problems, but it could show that there is an issue with the overall process of building the box, which is why we want to go ahead and point that out. A little bit of excess glue there. Actually feels slightly sticky right there. Maybe a little extra glue there or something. As you can see here, I'm not sure how clear that comes out on camera. Let me see if I can point it up there. You can see it looks like it's coming apart just a little bit. That's actually not terribly unusual with these sorts of boxes when you go to start gluing things like this together. So I'm not going to take off too much for that. I would say that it's at least adequate. It could look prettier for sure, but it's at the very least adequate. So I'll say that. Okay. Let me check the stitching on the edge here as well. Okay, looks fine there, looks fine. And then let's pick it up. Oops, careful, I'm hitting my mic. Oh no, don't hit the mic. Okay, we'll take a look here again real quick. Since this is where the flap was covering it, so that's why I'm looking again. Okay. Seems mostly okay. All right, trying not to hit my mic again. All right, so the inside again has kind of that sort of soft felt lining. There is no extra padding or anything like that. But again, very, very similar to a modern day deck box. It feels exactly like that, just on a much grander scale. And so let's grab some cards, and I'll stick some in here. We got a little stack of Pokemon cards here, just to kind of give you an idea of what kind of room we're dealing with here. With standard size Pokemon cards, you do have a bit of wiggle room there. In fact, I would say I can't quite fit my finger in there, but that kind of gives you an idea of how much room you have left. Let me see if I can get you a better camera angle. There. See it a little bit better there. We've got a substantial amount of room there with standard size cards. Obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh cards are going to be a little bit smaller, so they will bounce around a little bit more. Again, when they're up against the edge here, this gives you an even better idea of how much space you got there. There we go. You can see the space right there. So yeah, there does have a bit of wiggle room, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you may be able also to fit other things in here, like, where's my top loader? Do I have my top loader here? Nope, that's just a semi-rigid. Let's take a look at a magnet holder. I've got a magnet holder here. This is a standard magnet holder from Ultra Pro. Does this fit in? It does not. As you can see, it's got a little bit of an issue there, so it doesn't fit in standing up like that. Obviously, if you want, you can put it on the side or something like that, but not the most elegant solution, but you can do it. But yeah, just sitting it in straight up and down wouldn't be able to fit, and even then, I believe it would be too tall, which, yes, it is. It would be a little bit too tall. Probably by about a good ½ inch at least. It would just be too tall, so you wouldn't be able to close the box up. Let me get some top loaders. Here we go. Got a regular old 3x4 top loader. Does the top loader fit? No. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that's a bit interesting, because the spacing is a bit of an issue then. Because I understand making the aisles a little bit wider, so, you know, when you have a situation like this where you've got that little extra space, you're like, oh, well, you know, maybe it's, you know, so you can also put some top loaders in there as well. But yeah, even top loaders don't fit. Yeah, they're just a little too big. That's unfortunate. Let me get my measurer. Where's my micrometer? So I can give you an actual measurement here of how wide this thing is. Where are you? Come here, micrometer. All right. So here's a micrometer. And let's go ahead and open this up. And I'm trying to get this as close as possible. Forgive me if I'm a couple millimeters off. But I'm trying to see right there. 72.22 millimeters is how wide I'm getting. Let me try, make sure that I got it all right here. 72.1, so pretty close. That's for this one. What about the edge? Is the edge any different? Should be the same, and it is. Yeah, I'm not seeing much of a difference there. This one feels a little tighter. Hold on. 71.8. So there is a small variance there as far as millimeters. But yeah, it's unfortunately not big enough to handle top loaders. Huh. That is pretty darn unfortunate. But that sort of thing does tend to happen sometimes with some of these boxes where, they want to keep them within a particular size range. And so you sacrifice somewhere. So, but like I said, it just confuses me then because if you're going to give me that much extra space for standard size cards, again, you have at least a good half inch there. At least. I would say a good centimeter, maybe a little more than a centimeter of space between the edge of the card and the edge of the guide there. So if you're going to give me that extra space, just give me that extra, half inch again so that I can fit, top loaders in this. But it didn't do that. So that's an interesting design decision there. All right, let's take a look at these blocks because these are what I'm pretty interested in. I do use somewhat similar solutions with the boxes that I use for my card store because again, I've got thousands and thousands of cards. I've got them all on shelves. And when I group them together, sometimes, the lanes aren't completely full of cards. So you want to have little blocks like this just to kind of take up a little space so the cards don't kind of flop over all the time. As far as that, these fit in here perfectly. Yeah. As you can see here, these fit in here without a problem. I'm not even having to push in. They just kind of slide right in. Just, whoop, there you go. Yeah. So these fit perfectly, which is good. Because, again, we were just talking about the spacing issue. So, yeah, these fit perfectly. No problems here with these. So that's nice. Yep. This one, a little tighter over here. Slightly tighter. But it still slides in easier enough. Or easy enough stuff. Yeah. Whatever. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. They do slide in pretty darn easy. Okay, so how do they hold up when I put a little thing of cards here? And again, I think this is maybe like 100 cards at most. Maybe not even that. Yeah, because the idea is you should be able to put them like this. It may actually hold the card up. Or, again, if you, put your cards up to, like, say, this point, you should be able to put the little spacers in there. And just kind of take up the extra space so they don't bounce around. And so if I do that, does it actually stick a little bit to the box itself? Let's see. Sacrificing my cards, possibly. Yeah, I'm angling it up a pretty good amount. That's at least a decent... yeah, at least... Did it slide there? It slid a little bit. Okay, we were at about a 45-degree angle there. It did slide eventually, and that's just with a small amount of cards. Of course, to be fair, these are not meant to go at hard angles like that and hold your cards in place. They're basically just supposed to be like this. Flat on a surface, just, butt it up against the back of your cards like that, and you should be fine. As far as the texturing on these, they're very, very soft. I've used these sorts of blocks before. Never had any problems with them damaging any of my cards. Of course, all the cards in my card store, I always keep all of them individually sleeved in penny sleeves, so far less likely for there to be an issue. But up against regular, non-sleeved cards, these have actually been perfectly fine as well. So that's a good thing. So the blocks do get a pass from me. Very nice. We'll put you over there. Let's take a look at these dividers. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you get 60. Oh, this is opening a little bit. How does this... Okay. Trying to see exactly how these are set to open. Okay, here we go. So yeah, that's how it goes. Okay, so let's bring these out. I'm not much of a snob when it comes to these plastic versions of these. I have been a bit of a snob when I've seen boxes like this come with cardboard ones, which in most cases I guess are fine. However, I always have to kind of take into account that sometimes these little dividers get put in very odd situations. Sometimes especially if you're moving around with them a lot, they do get bent up quite a bit. And some of the cardboard ones, if you put enough pressure on them, they are going to just kind of, you start to distort and go out of shape. And not only that, but they also absorb moisture, which can be an issue as well. You don't really have to worry about that with plastic ones like this. They do have a pretty good amount of give. Feel just fine. And they're fairly thick too. They're not super thin like some of the crappier ones that I've seen. They're not extra thick also. They're right in that middle ground, which I believe feel just fine. Yeah, and you get an assortment of colors. You get your blacks, you get your whites, some green, red, purples. Oh, you get some pink ones in there too. Nice. Got some yellow ones and some dark blue ones there. So as far as how they feel, again, we'll go with a different one. Yeah, they feel perfectly fine. Nice and bendy. Can I actually bend it all the way over on itself? I can. Yeah. It does, of course, distort slightly, but you should be able to bend that back into shape, which is, again, the benefit of having a plastic one as compared to a cardboard one. Cardboard one, it would probably bend, it would probably crack in the center, and you could try to force it out, but it's always going to have that crease in it, which is unfortunate. So, overall thoughts of this box. It's fine. It's it's fine. That's really all I can say about it. The solution itself is okay. Again, I am a little bummed that I'm not able to fit top loaders in this. That is, kind of a downside there for me, because when it comes to boxes like these, I almost never store just loose cards like this in them. I almost always put cards in that are already placed in top loaders. So yeah, that's a little bit of a bummer. As far as them fitting sleeved cards, I guess we technically haven't done that, but I mean, just from the measurements I've taken, you should be able to see that these will definitely hold cards that, standard size cards that are sleeved. You can see, the sleeve adds a little bit of extra width to the card, but still very good. So yeah, I guess if you were to put in a bunch of sleeved cards like this, even if they were just in penny sleeves or standard sleeves like this, the wiggle room is far less of an issue, so you could do that. But it really all depends on what you're trying to do here. Some people don't like to sleeve individual cards like this. They just like to leave them loose like this here. So yeah, I would say either way that you put them in there should be fine. If you're going to be traveling around quite a bit with this box, do be aware, like I said, that you do have that bit of a gap there. So the cards are going to bounce around a little bit. So just be aware of that. So again, but I imagine if you're going to be traveling, if they're just common cards, like, little, 5, 6 cents, 7 cards, you probably don't really care too much if they bounce around a lot. If they're going to be more expensive cards, I imagine you're going to put them in sleeves anyway, or top loaders. And if you do a top loader, you could just stick it like this. They should fit in there just fine. Put like do I have a stack here? Let me grab a stack of top loaders. There we go. Just a little stack like this. Just put them in there like that. And then I'm sure you'll just fill up the edge here with something or put some other cards around them. You wouldn't necessarily be able to put the block like this, but I guess you could put it like this. There you go. You could solve it that way. There we go. We got it figured out. All right. Yeah, there you go. Put the little blocks like that. That works too. So yeah, there's nothing terribly wrong with this other than the fact that it doesn't fit top loaders. That's the unfortunate part. But if this is something you're just going to keep at home, just to store up, your Pokemon cards or Magic the Gathering cards, or even your Yu-Gi-Oh cards, should be just fine. If it just mostly ends up on a shelf somewhere, and you're just keeping your cards there for semi-long-term storage, this is perfectly fine. If you're going to be traveling with this, again, like I said, just be aware that your cards are going to bounce around a little bit in there, so you may want to do something like add some sleeves or some sort of other sort of padding there to keep them from bouncing around so much. So yeah, again, this is from, what is your brand name again? Zettokete. I will leave an affiliate link down in the description if you do decide you want to go ahead and try this, and I do get paid from those affiliate links, so just being making sure you're fully aware of that. But yeah, I see nothing really terribly wrong with this deck box there, or basically storage box. There's nothing offensively wrong with the build quality. It's fine. It could be a little bit better in spots like here, here, and here. Could be a little bit better, but it's not awful. So if you purchase this just to kind of have as a little, home storage unit for your cards, it should be fine. It should be perfectly fine. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for checking out the video, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, and all that other good YouTuber stuff. If there are any other products out there that you want me to try, just send me a note, drop me a message there over on YouTube, or just leave it in the comments and just say, hey, can you take a look at this particular product? And if it's interesting enough to me, I'll probably just go and buy it. A lot of these products do get sent to me for free. I've disclosed that in pretty much all of my videos. If I do pay for one, though, I also mention that as well. So yeah, I have no problem actually buying some of these products just so I can try them out if you guys are actually curious about them. So drop a line, let me know which curiosities you have out there that you may want me to take a look at. But thanks for checking out the video, guys. We'll see you next time.